Now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, and so much more. Over 80 show categories of consumer advocate content helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. We want to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our consumer advocate hotline number in your phone. It's 813-670-7372, 813-670-7372. Don't forget our number, bookmark it as well. Save our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. You can watch our live stream version of the show, our television show version at webeamtv.com, or our website, consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors. Click on the expert contributors tab. You can find all their contact information there available as well. And call or text that line. We love it when we have you reach out. We helped several listeners last week with credit and reverse mortgage information, business information. So we really appreciate that when the callers reach out, and we want to hear from you. So we want to help you win no matter what you're facing. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you, making you just a bit more street smart out there on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a big shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites that overlook the Gulf of Mexico. Also on site, the Castile restaurant is a great restaurant. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Go down there and check this place out if you haven't been to the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. And make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 15 to 20% discount off of your room stay at the Hotel Zamora. And we're in studio here. In studio today, I've got some intelligent folks with me here. It's Intelligent Talk Radio, helping you win in any marketplace. Chuck Peterson, he's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. Welcome in, sir.
How you doing?
Excellent. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Not having Chamber of Commerce weather, but it's sure good for our roofing business.
There you go. That's right. Absolutely. Getting out there and seeing some of these roof repairs. That rainy season's here.
It is.
So you guys are staying busy, huh?
On the phone all the time right now.
That's right.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Well, thanks for taking some time out and visiting with us and our listeners. And also in studio, Snoop in the house, Jay Smith, owner of A Snoop Inspection. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
The longest expert contributor on the Quarterback Show, by the way.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
It's been 3 years now, so.
Long-time friend of the program, man. We appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
And our listeners appreciate it because you come in and you give that consultative approach, that consumer advocate advice to our listeners out there. So tell us a little bit about A Snoop Inspection.
Well, A Snoop Inspection's been in the Tampa market for the last 7 years. I've been in the construction industry for 30 years now, and we have multiple inspectors in the area to serve all 7 counties of the Tampa market.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into what you're seeing out there as well, and what's happening, things to look for, things to avoid out there. We want to help you think a layer deeper as a listener, maybe a viewer of our show. We want to be different from a lot of the mainstream media out there, and we have some feel-good stories today as well. We got a man, here's this interesting headline, man aims to mow grass in all 50 states for those in need. Interesting story teed up by our producer, Anthony, as well as we're going to talk about in our top 5 today. So start thinking about these. See if you can guess the top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful. So we got a great story there as well. Some interesting content coming up from our listeners, from our contributors, that is. And we also want to start off with a little bit of personal development for you. Help you in life. Sometimes in life you want to call that audible. And what we talk about here is the three main influences of life, because regardless of where you're at, what you failed, you succeeded, you are 100% responsible for your life, and your thoughts are going to lead to your behaviors. Behavior is going to create these habits, and habits are 1,000 times more likely than just the sheer will alone, willing to have things happen. So number one is your input. What are you feeding into your brain? What books are you reading? What shows are you watching? What podcasts are you listening to? And it's very similar to food. With food, we see it. We know that we had that ice cream sundae. We know that we just took in a lot of calories, but it tasted so good, right? And then number two is the associations that you have. Who is influencing you? You've heard Dr. David McClellan from Harvard said your reference groups determines as much as 95% of your success. And of course, the quote that we've all heard by Jim Rohn: you become the combined average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And number three is your environment, the environment that you're around every day, your home, your office, your surroundings. So it's a good idea to go ahead and your home or office, go ahead and do a deep clean on it. If you got curtains on the windows, take the old curtains down, sheets covering your windows, take the sheets down, put some nice curtains up, dress the place up a little bit, clean it up, declutter, and make yourself feel good. And that's what it's all about, focusing on an attitude of gratitude, and that's going to help you win in any marketplace. That's your 2-minute drill. From the real estate quarterback here. So I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, in studio today. Chuck Peterson, Executive Director, Suncoast Roofing. And 'tis the season. It's the rain's coming down, and you guys are getting busy over there with Suncoast Roofing.
Yeah, this is the spring showers we should have had 6 weeks ago or here now, and we're getting them in a huge volume. So phones are ringing, repairs mostly. You wake up, we had a guy call today, and he's like, I woke up this morning and water's pouring in my bathroom. I can't even get it stopped. Somebody get out there. So, it's that time of year for that.
So you get that call, and let's talk about the process. Okay. So you go in, you look at, okay, where's the leak coming from? Yep. How do you assess that?
Well, we send a estimator out there immediately. Somebody that can get on the roof and figure out where it's at. If it's not pouring rain, they can get up there and figure out where the issue is at. If we can tarp it right then, we'll tarp it. And then we'll immediately send a repair tech out as soon as we kind of know what it is and how much work we have to do and what the weather's going to do, because we don't want to go in there and, if it's leaking in a valley somewhere and have to tear a valley out. We don't want to start doing that in weather where you got, 80% chance it's going to rain, and we leak not just his bathroom that was leaking, but the rest of his house as well, because we're working on it. So we try to get it watertight as we can, and then we get the guys out there as quick as we can, to get it fixed.
Yeah, and so if that happens, you get additional water that's hitting a lot of the underlayment, some of this plywood that's typically under there. What's typically, can it be exposed for a little bit of time? And I think about this sometimes when I watch a stick house being built, a stick home, say from the ground up. They've got it framed out, and you got you're driving by and you're seeing some of these even apartment buildings. Talk about that a little bit. Is it okay to get a little bit wet?
On the new construction side, when they put the roof sheeting on, mm-hmm. if that gets wet as a whole, it's going to be okay because it's going to dry as a whole. We're not going to cover that up. What happens to your house is if you get a hole mm-hmm. in that roof and then it leaks and that plywood gets wet underneath all the rest of the stuff, then that plywood just soaks that up, and then the heat comes and it's just crushing the plywood up, and that's why you start getting the rot.
Right.
The new construction, if we do new construction with these guys, they have to get a roof sheeting inspection. So the inspector has to come one day and they have to sheet it. They have to inspect the sheeting before we can cover it.
And that's the actual plywood sheeting?
Yes, the plywood itself is the sheeting. It's the plywood that's on top of your roof. And
yep.
So they have to have that inspection. Then we try to get there, the next day or so and put the peeling stick down on top to cover it and seal it watertight. But if it gets wet, it's not the end of the world as it's exposed already, and then it will dry before we cover it up so none of that moisture can stay in.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. But when that moisture's trapped in that roof, that's when your plywood's soaking it up and it can't get rid of it.
Yeah, and that's when you get the mold and everything else setting in.
Not necessarily mold, but you just get rotted wood, and then of course your roof starts caving in, and then you end up with water in your bathroom because the plywood itself gave way and the water dropped down to the ceiling itself, and then the ceiling's not going to hold any water. It's going to go right through.
Yeah, important to look at that. Chuck Peterson here on the Quarterback Show, Suncoast Roofing. So what makes Suncoast different? Talk a little bit about that warranty that you guys offer.
We do have that warranty. We're a GAF Master Elite contractor. For a new roof warranty, we have a 50-year warranty that's backed by GAF. GAF is the backer of the warranty, so that if something happens to us as a company and we were to go out of business, GAF stays in business. They're the oldest shingle company in the country. They're American. The plant's right outside of Tampa for the Florida products. So it's a 50-year, first 25 years non-prorated labor material. So if there's a manufacturer's defect, if there's an installation defect, GAF covers it. I mean, they cover the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's the best warranty in the business. There's good warranties out there, but that's the best one out there. So
I love that.
Yeah, and repairs, we can't do that. We can't do a warranty because that's a whole house warranty if you do the whole thing. But the repairs, if we do a significant piece of the work, we're going to warranty that repair for a year labor, and then the manufacturer actually has a manufacturer's warranty on their shingle itself. So you get somewhat of warranty even on a repair if we have to tear up a pretty substantial part of your roof.
Yeah. Let's bring Jay into the conversation. Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection.
He'll see those issues a lot.
Let's talk about that, Jay.
I see all kinds of fun stuff on the roof. Couple of things, cutting your trees back. I mean, we're always seeing damage from the trees. And of course, it hasn't rained in a long time. So I'm sure that Chuck is getting those phone calls and finding out, hey, you got some damage from the trees.
Yeah.
We can fix your roof, but you got to get the trees cut back.
Correct. I mean, those trees, they take the granules off your shingles, and that's your protective layer for your shingle. And so he's right, the trees get in there, and the gutters. Nobody's been up there to clean those gutters.
That's right.
Because there's been no rain, and you don't think it's backing up, and those gutters back up, and the water goes right back over your fascia, right back into your soffits and back in your house.
Wow. Yeah, that's a challenge, because when you look at the high surface tension of water, it's going to want to roll back. So it's going to, even when it hits the bottom, sometimes it's going to roll back into that. So it's important on the construction side too, when you're, putting the right angles on certain aspects of the home.
True.
That's important. All right, so more from our expert contributors here. Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, Snoop in the house, and also Chuck Peterson. And we're expecting Paul Bundschu as well to come in, and One Stop Cooling and Heating coming in. So we got a real estate roundtable discussion here, helping make you just a bit more street smart out there. And giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about the top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful. And also, a man aims to mow grass in all 50 states for those in need. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, the Business Journal, the Tribune, all recognized for innovation with marketing, doing a lot of innovation on Facebook marketing, Google marketing for our sellers, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. And we want to talk to also realtors out there. We're looking to grow our team, and we've got a plethora of leads coming in, an abundance of leads due to our explosive growth here in Tampa Bay. So 5208 East Longboat Boulevard in Tampa. This is a hot listing that we've got. 5 bedrooms, 3 and 1/2 bath, $855,000, and it's a great opportunity at 4,161 square feet heated and a pool home. You've got a spa. You've got bay access with a boat dock that will hold up to a 40-foot boat with bay access into Upper Tampa Bay. Also, 380 Bridle Path Way in Tarpon Springs, another pool home here, 4-bedroom, 3-bath in Keystone Bluffs area of Pinellas County, Tarpon Springs, $299,000. Great opportunity close to Brooker Creek Elementary and East Lake High. So, two beautiful properties here in sunny Tampa Bay. So we want to make sure you have our hotline number saved in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372. Give us a call. Shoot a text message over to 813-670-7372. And our promise is that we're going to get back to you before our head hits the pillow. And giving a shout out to Source One Solutions, our official security partner, Robert Hessel and his team with Source One Solutions. They do a great job on the security side of the real estate properties, your commercial office, your building, or potentially your home as well. So home or office security, Honeywell technology utilized by Source One Solution is the best out there. Source One Solutions, Robert Hessel and his team. Big shout out to Robert and his team. They do a great job. All right, we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. Chuck Peterson is in the house. He's the executive director, Suncoast Roofing, and also Jay Smith. He's the owner of Snoop Inspection, and he's a home inspector here in Tampa Bay, owner of Snoop Inspection. So we thought what we're going to do is we're going to do a little real estate roundtable discussion here, and let's talk about the different types of roofs out there, roof systems. So let's start with the tile roof. Pros and cons. What do you think about this?
The tile roofs they're great roofs. There's concrete tile and there's ceramic tile. The concrete tile is most prevalent. They're great roofs. The downside of the tile roofs are two things. The ones that were put on years ago have an underlayment, the old felt paper underlayment.
Yep.
That felt paper comes apart, and so those roofs, as soon as you get a leak in the tile, it runs down, it gets in the underlayment, it starts leaking, and the repairs on a tile roof are exponentially expensive.
Yeah.
And like Jay and I were talking about, to replace a tile roof is extremely expensive. Now, they're long term. You put them on nowadays, we put the peel and stick down, tile goes on, you're pretty good to go. But the ones that people have, the ones that are out there that have been on there for 10 years, have the old underlayment 20 years. We replace quite a few where the tile's not terribly bad, but the underlayment has gone away due to the heat.
That's always scared me. With the condo I'm in right now, you look at, there's cracks in there. You look at anytime they go up there and pressure wash, or anytime somebody's up there doing something, inspecting, cleaning the dryer vents out or whatever. And so a little crack happens, water's going to penetrate. Right. So if it's the felt, you're saying most
under
of the time,
tile, then that felt allows that. If that felt comes apart because it heats and expands, and eventually it just cracks apart.
Yep.
And that water just penetrates that plywood. Now, it's not like it's going to drive through and just start leaking right away. That plywood's going to soak that water up for a while. Yep. Until eventually it's so full, and then it starts leaking. So that it doesn't happen overnight. But that's the downside of tile.
What do you think about that, Jay?
Well, it is. And as a home inspector, it's hard to judge them sometimes if there's not a leak yet, because we're not seeing your actual roof material. The tile isn't necessarily your roof, it's underneath the tile. Of course, the hardest part to fix on those, and I know Chuck has to do this all the time, is the valleys. I mean, that's where you run into all your problems, and you start tearing out a valley. Like you said, I'm sure it's quite costly to take care of those repairs.
So the valleys where the two trusses meet.
Two pieces of your house, if you have a gable here and then your garage comes in, you have that valley that runs from the ridge down.
Yep.
You know, where the two pieces meet.
Yep.
You know, you have to take out 3 foot on either side to get up there. 3 foot on either side.
Yeah.
You know, to go up, because you can't tell where that leak is at. You know, Jay's right. There's no way to see with a tile roof.
Now, as far as an additional positive to the tile roof is the attics are a little bit cooler with tile. You've got an extra barrier between the plywood and the actual roofing. Now you got the tile on top of that. It actually gets rid of the heat a little bit better.
Good point.
So believe me, from a home inspection point of view, we get up in that attic, instead of being 130, 140, it actually may only be getting up to 115, 120. And there is a difference there.
Yeah.
The other thing about tile too is, as long as you have somebody that knows what they're doing to get on that tile, like to your point, people on your building, because you're going to have it cleaned every now and then, and maybe sealed down the road. That tile's going to last as long as anybody's in the house. But you know, it's really a matter of, does somebody know what they're doing? Because otherwise they crack them up.
Yeah.
And once a roof gets to be about 10 years old, you know, you don't always have to do an inspection on a shingled roof, regular asphalt shingle. But with tile, I start recommending you should have a professional actually go on the roof and check it out every couple of years.
So tile roofs, okay. Now let's move to metal. Let's talk about metal roof, pros and cons.
Metal it's a great product. It's got a you know, it's the same as tile if the underlayment. Here we go.
Yeah.
So if the underlayment is perfect, you know, is good underneath there, the metal's going to last quite some time.
Yeah.
The only issues you have with metal are how close you are to the water. In the old days, we put galvanized on all the way up to the ocean, and we've come to figure out that galvanized and salt don't necessarily mix. So the warranties are, you have to be 1,500 feet off the water, or you have to have aluminum. But as far as the product itself, I mean, you have to. The warranty requires you to freshwater rinse it once a year or twice a year, and that roof's going to last as long as you have that maintenance done on it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you have a standing seam, which you can't see where you can't see the screws, you really have no maintenance to do on a metal roof whatsoever, and they last quite some time. So you don't see very many issues with metal.
I'm a fan of metal roofs.
Right.
I think it's a great product. They're more wind resistant because you've got larger pieces that are attached a little bit better than just even a regular shingle or the tile for that matter.
Yeah.
I will say to the wind, because we have offices on the East Coast as well. When the hurricane came, you know, we went out and we started looking at all the houses that we put on. We had no metal panels come off of any house. Had some ridge cap panels come off, but no metal whatsoever. None at all.
Sounds like a pretty superior product. Sounds pretty good.
It's good for the wind because the way that the metal has to be put on, like Jay was saying, the installation allows you to go straight to the deck with you know, screws, and if it's a hidden screw system, the wind can't get to the screw.
Right.
So it really seals it pretty well.
Two real estate experts here in studio with me today. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Chuck Peterson. He's the executive director, Suncoast Roofing, and Jay Smith, owner of Snoop Inspection. We're talking about roofing systems. What's the pros and cons of each type? So metal is a pretty good product, it sounds like. Let's go to shingle, the traditional shingle. I think what shingle would be about like 80% of the roofs out there. Roof
every
system.
Bit. Yeah, every bit. I mean, of course, the plus to the shingle is the cost. Number one. I mean, it's going to be 50% less than either one of the other two items.
Okay.
The warranties that they have now, you know, are far superior than what they had 10 years ago, 12 years ago. So the shingle product itself is much better. The wind lift numbers that they have to meet are much better. You know, so the shingle itself is the most common. It's we put on, like I said, 80%.
Yeah.
Across the board. They're easy to repair. If there is a repair that has to be done, you can get to it. You can diagnose a problem for a repair like we're having now with the rains. We can find out where that leak is pretty easily. We can pinpoint it. We can fix it very easily. Where a metal roof or a tile roof, you just can't do that. So those are the pluses on that.
All right. So did we cover all the major ones?
Yeah, I mean, Jay can speak to the shingles because I'm sure he sees more shingles.
We see shingles
on his inspections than we do.
It's just keeping track of the debris on the roof, getting the debris off the roof, like we talked about earlier. The tree branches being too close to the roof. You can keep those couple items, you can make that roof last a lot longer. The last section of the roof is really the flat roofs.
Yeah.
A couple different types of materials are now being used with the flats. I'm sure Chuck can talk about, you know, the better ones that are out today than weren't even available 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the products that were available 10 years ago that's on most everybody's roof is what's called modified bitumen. It's basically what us older folks would call rolled roofing.
Yep.
You know, you rolled it out.
Let's save that to the next
Okay,
segment. Actually,
we'll
we're
do it.
coming in on our break, so we're going to tease that. We're going to come back, talk to you about these flat roofing systems as well. And I want to ask as well, solar panels. You know, what are you seeing in that space with the roofing systems? And a man aims to mow grass in all 50 states for those in need, as well as our top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful. Some of these extremely successful people that started as an internship. And more from our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida's #1 consumer advocate program, helping you win in any marketplace. Stay with us. Do not touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com. Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We appreciate you tuning in and listening to our show here. Maybe you're watching our live stream version on WeBeam TV or from our website. You can stream as well from consumerqb.com. And also, we want to hear from you. So submit the form at consumerqb.com. There's an email form that comes directly through to me, and we make sure that we get back to you. Also, program our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it, 813-670-7372. That's our Consumer Advocate Hotline. Reach out at 813-670-7372, and we would love to help you with anything that you're facing out there. Over 80 show categories of consumer advocate content. We talk about CPA advice, finance, credit, estate planning, tax planning, 7 or 8 different types of law that we cover here on the show as well. And today we're talking about real estate. We're having a real estate roundtable discussion here and making you just a bit more street smart when it comes to roofing and construction and home inspections as well. So Chuck Peterson is in the house. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing, as well as Jay Smith, owner of Snoop Inspection. He's a home inspector here in Tampa Bay. And Brio Tuscan Grill and their International Plaza is our official restaurant partner. We want to give a big shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill. Excellent, courteous staff over there, wonderful food, and located off of Bay Street at the Renaissance Hotel, next to the Renaissance Tampa Hotel at the International Plaza. And Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza Mall, you will discover Italian menu, drinks in a cozy atmosphere, and bringing you the pleasures of the Tuscan Country Villa to Tampa. Our official restaurant partner is Brio Tuscan Grill. Say hello to the management staff. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and they're going to hook you up with the free water with lemon every time. They're going to take care of you over there. All right, we're back here in studio helping you win. A couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here. 7657 132nd Way in Seminole. Whispering Forest is the subdivision, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, pool home, no HOA or CDD, 1 and 1/2 story property here, multi-level, split design, and over 2,400 square feet. Beautiful property here in Pinellas County, as well as 701 East Crenshaw Street in Tampa, Harmony Heights subdivision, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's over 2,350 square feet, completely renovated with the pool and a fenced-in backyard. 701 East Crenshaw Street in Tampa. A great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Just reduced down to $259, by the way, for sale there in Tampa Bay. Man aims to mow grass in all 50 states. For those in need, coming up, our feel-good story, and the top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, so we were talking about, we went through our roofing systems, the different types of roofing systems with our expert contributors, talking about the tile, metal, shingle, and then we were talking about flat roofs. So, Chuck, I think that's where we left off at before the break there.
Right. We were saying the roof system that's on most of the houses is the old rolled roofing, what most people would understand to be rolled roofing, and the shingles come down. You have a flat cover over your lanai or your front porch or your back porch, whatever you might have.
Yep.
And that tie-in right there is the place that is the predominant leak spot on 80% of the houses that we have that has a flat deck on it.
Yeah.
The tie-in, they don't maintain the roof the way it should, and that stuff, the heat heats it up, stuff gets up there, the shingles bow up a little bit, and the water just rolls right up underneath there.
So what can you do about that? I mean, is it a flawed design, or is it just...
the code now requires us to put a pitch on that roof, so
Right.
It's flat now, so we have to put a pitch on there. And then we recommend a product called TPO. It's a thermoplastic product. It's the same white type product you would see on top of a Home Depot or a Walmart or something like that.
Right.
It's made for residential use now. One of the flaws for the flat decks that I'm sure Jay can tell you about is the laps that are in there come apart, and you get the leaks in those laps. Well, they're 3-foot wide rolls, and so if you have a 15-foot wide roof on your lanai, you got 5 laps in there.
Yep.
That's the biggest contributor past the tie-in. A roll of TPO is 10 to 12 foot wide, so you have one possibility of a lap.
Okay.
In there, and then that product, you heat seal it at 1,300 degrees to seal the seams together, and it really never comes apart. I mean, it's made to be just to take the heat of Florida. It's bright white.
Yep.
It reflects the heat tremendously. So it's a very user friendly consumer product, but it's also a longevity product where you have no issues. We take off shingles, it runs up under the shingles, put the shingles back down so the water comes off, hits it, rolls on out with the pitch.
Nice.
Problem solved.
Very cool. Jay?
I can't agree more. I mean, the TPOs is, I think, the way to go. Even just the white color adds something that it reflects the heat better
Right.
than the old roofs. Whether it's an open lanai or it's an addition that was done on the house, it can help your insulation and help your costs for your heating and cooling. They absolutely just last longer so far. The old roofs, the old modified bitumen, and if you got 14, 15, 16 years, you were doing good. So far, the TPO seem to be lasting longer.
Right.
The warranty wise, to speak to Jay's point, the warranty wise on the modified, the rolled roofing, it's 12 years. It's what the shingle was, what the manufacturer will give you. For the TPO, it's 25.
Okay.
If you have a commercial building, we're certified GAF installers for that product. So you can actually get a 40-year no dollar limit on a commercial building with that TPO, because it's just made to take the flat water, the flatness, and we put those pitches on there, and it operates at very high efficiency. And it's that insulation board helps, like Jay was talking about the insulation. You get a little more insulation out of the board that has to go on there. So it's a plus all the way around on the flat deck.
Sounds like a good product. Chuck Peterson here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Suncoast Roofing, and Jay Smith, owner of Snoop Inspection. And the next topic of conversation I'd like to talk about is solar. You see some of these solar panels. I've heard horror stories about how the drilling and the installation can cause issues with the roof. What's your nuggets there?
Well, that's all true, irrespective of any roof system you have. If the installation by the solar company is flawed, then that's an issue for you and the solar company and us, but we have to go see it. That does happen, but that's really just an installation issue, not necessarily is it good to have solar or not.
Right.
The solar panels, I know we're going to talk about what's coming. So the solar panels that are coming are going to be, they're going to be great. And, solar's really moving pretty heavy into Florida now. We don't see it as much here as we do up north or out west, because there's some limitations
government wise,
from the state that don't allow the homeowner to recover as much money as they do in some other places. But the big solar companies are here, and they're going to just be carrying on. It's going to be more and more common as it goes. The cost numbers are coming down some as they would with anything. Yeah, on the straight solar panels. What
are you seeing in that space, Jay?
We're slowly starting to see the panels come about. It's I'd say just in the last 3 years. It's very recent on some of the newer houses, and we're just now starting to inspect them. The average person isn't staying in a house for 10, 20 years, so now we're starting to see those resell, and we're coming out to see if there's problems. And the biggest thing we're looking for is, like he said, the installation. If they run some kind of attachment through the shingles, through any kind of roof material, we're hopefully will be able to get behind that in the attic and take a look, see if there's been any causes of problems. But if you'd asked me 5 years ago about solar, I don't know if I would have said it was worth it at that time.
Right.
We're definitely at that doorway to walk through it, and solar's going to become more real for us every single day from here out.
Yeah, agreed. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see more of it.
Well, it's being pushed not necessarily by the people that live in Florida, but just by the sheer PR volume that's out there.
Right.
Tulsa and Solar City have the solar roofs now that are coming out. They're starting to install those in Florida. In California, excuse me, not in Florida. They're not Florida product approved at all, so don't anybody call.
Yeah.
But they're starting to install those out there on not just houses, but subdivisions. So in time, that's going to come this way, but the savings long term for the homeowner and long term for the environment, all the pluses that go with that is going to force Florida.
We'll have all that cool stuff soon.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I was reading on like the Tesla roof, it's more of a slate looking style on a lot of them. And it's interesting. You don't actually cover the entire roof with solar panels. It's a combination of a shingle that looks like that, and the solar panels built into maybe 40% of your roof. They're putting it on the sides of the roofs that are, of course, going to show the most sun and get the most benefit.
Right. Yeah, the roof looks exactly the same. You wouldn't know if you rode by what side has solar and what side doesn't, unless you knew where the sun was supposed to be. But
that's pretty cool.
And it's coming. They got just a lot of solar stuff happening across the country, and so it's going to force Florida to change some of those regulations that make it more user friendly,
right?
As a whole. And then it's really going to come, but it's coming now. Like they said, you start seeing
the sun will still come out, even though it's been a little rainy.
Right. We'll get it.
It's coming. And the great thing about the Tulsa and the Solar City things is they actually have solar packs that store that solar energy, where just a regular solar panel is not hooked up that way. So the new technology that's coming is going to be pretty interesting to see.
But they still won't let you off the grid, will they?
You can't sell back to the grid yet, but that's going to be a forced issue at some point, because the homeowners in Florida are at a disadvantage to everybody else, and that's just going to change, because it doesn't make sense for Florida to regulate it that way when the pluses are so good to have the solar on your house.
Yeah, it's a political issue, I guess, is what I found out.
It's something like Jay said, 3 or 4 years ago, even 5 years ago, you wouldn't even seen a solar panel that was for electricity,
right?
Other than maybe a hot water heater, and that would be it.
Yeah.
So now, as the public gets more and more involved in it, it'll change.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right, coming up, top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful. And also, we got a man aims to mow grass in all 50 states for those in need in our feel-good story of the week. And more from our expert contributors here. Chuck Peterson in the house, Suncoast Roofing, as well as Jay Smith, owner of Snoop Inspection. So stay with us. Do not touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. A couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. We're looking for inventory out there as well. If you're a seller or know someone who's thinking about potentially selling, we would love to talk to them and do a free comparable market analysis for you. We can do a CMA and find out what the property's valued at and what the comps are in the neighborhood, what's it selling for. And we've got a couple of hot listings here. 4711 Juanita Way South in St. Petersburg. This is in the Bayou Bonita Park. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, pool home, and it's a great location in St. Pete, South St. Pete there, unpaved roads, and it's got a beautiful park by it. $375,000, great opportunity there. As well as attention builders, developers out there. We've got 2606 North Valrico Road in Seffner, 84-acre development opportunity. There's a lake on the property as well. $1.715 million, a great opportunity here for any developers. Chestnut Forest is the area. 2606 North Valrico Road in Seffner. A couple of great buying opportunities here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, coming up as well, we got the top 5 people who started with an internship and became extremely successful. And we have also our feel-good story of the week as well, going to be read by Braylon Joe, my daughter here. So not yet. We're going to go ahead. We had left off with a couple of points we were making too, I think. We were talking about solar. You got the skylights and those types of things that come in with roofing. But, and we also have the lightning round coming up. So so what else are you seeing out there? What else are you seeing out there, guys, in terms of, this time of year, seasonally appropriate advice, things for our listeners to be aware of?
Keeping track of your pools. I mean, they're filling up.
Mm-hmm.
Pools are dirty. Just taking care of that end of things. You can't even swim in them. Now it's warm, and you go out and look at your pool, and it's all cloudy. So you get out there, and while the sun is shining, try to get it taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. So the pools, you always talk about the breaker boxes too, Jay. That's an area of concern for a lot of inspectors.
Well, people got to realize everything has a life expectancy, and even if you're in a condo and there's not much going on with the panel, they're not making a bunch of changes to it, changing things out through the years. Still 40, 50 years, you got to think about changing out that electrical panel,
right,
and updating it with new breakers and more of the current standard. 40 years is kind of a benchmark when your insurance companies are going to start red flagging it.
Yeah.
And 50 years, you're pretty much done. You've got to definitely change that out.
Yeah, and some of the old wiring, you see that old wiring out there from time to time, some of those older properties.
Oh, definitely. And I think there'll be a day that your house will have to be wired with what we currently use. And we've been pretty much using the same type of wiring since the early 70s. So it's well proven. Yep. We're 45 years into it.
Yep.
Anything built prior to that, there may come a time where you've got to really look at rewiring that house.
All right, perfect. Let's jump into our top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful. All right, so let's go ahead and start here with Chuck Peterson. See if you can guess here. One of the top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful.
I'm saying I'm going with Bill Gates, the most successful guy, but it's not a very high confidence vote.
Bill Gates is on the list. Number 4 is
really?
Bill Gates. Yep, this one here. So hit that button right there, brother.
Man, where did he do an intern?
Yeah.
Just like that. That's all there is to it.
All right, so you got the right answer there. Bill Gates. So every time you mention the word Bill Gates, the first thing come to mind is the computer genius, right? Or the wealthiest man in the world. Right. Everyone knows he became very famous when he's the world's largest economy software, which is Microsoft Corp. But many didn't know he started as a congressional page intern for the U.S. House of Representatives during the summer. His duties back then was clerical work, and his internship, he decided to start Microsoft. His interest in software and programming urged him to create a multi-billion-dollar company.
I'm saying he made a good move.
Stuff. Yeah, good move there, Billy Bob.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
Oh, I don't know.
Top 5 interns.
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg is number 2 on the list. He is number 2.
That's all there is to it.
All right, we're nailing them today.
That's all there is to it.
Yesterday's show, we didn't have much success on the guesses that we had. All right, back to you, Chuck Peterson. We're talking about the top 5 people who started with an internship and became successful.
Top 5 meaning what means you're a top 5 person?
Top 5 most successful interns that you might not know, I guess, were in intern.
Because I would go with somebody like Chief Justice Roberts at the Supreme Court would be pretty successful, but I'm
Braylon had to buzz you there. Sorry about that.
Oh, well.
Jay.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey is on the list. Number 3 on the list. Jay's on fire today. Oprah is considered one of the most iconic faces on TV and most influential women in the world. She is proof of the famous rags to riches story. Winfrey endured a tough life when she was young, but didn't stop her, and she had a larger-than-life success. She surpassed her troubled past and gained tremendous achievements. Her involvement in media started when she became an intern at WLAC TV, a CBS affiliate in Nashville. Her talent and experience in public speaking and drama gave her a chance to become a part-time newsreader, which led her into getting a full-time anchor position. So, yeah, good stuff. So, number 5 on the list, Anderson Cooper. Cooper is a well-known TV journalist for CNN, and he started during his college years. He was a summer intern, had a training at the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, the nation's top spy agency. However, he didn't pursue a career-related intelligent work, but chose journalism. All right, so we talked about Bill. Oprah at number 2 was Steven Spielberg. Number 1 on the list, Steve Jobs, Apple Computers, one of the most valuable tech companies in the world, a man who contributed a huge change of generation and transformed the world's relationships with technology. Who would have thought he would adopted son of a machinist who was so in love with the electronics brought us amazing inventions. No one thought that his creative mind behind Apple, he created something big and got lost touch. Jobs had humbling beginnings. He started as an intern with Hewlett Packard. So how did it happen? He had 12-year-old he called William Hewlett, who was the president of Hewlett Packard, talked about a school project. Hewlett was impressed to Jobs' interest in electronics and chips, so he offered him a summer internship to his company. All right.
They all turned out pretty well, I'm saying.
They did pretty good. Yeah. All right, so we got our feel-good story of the week, and so for the feel-good story of the week.
Tell me something. A man aims to mow grass in all 50 states for those in need. A man on a mission plans to mow grass in all 50 states. Stopped in Kansas City on Monday. Rodney Smith Jr. started an organization that mows lawns for single mothers, veterans, and older Americans. He's based out of Huntsville, Alabama, and says he got the idea a couple of years ago when he saw an older man struggling to cut his grass. He says his mission is rewarding. He loves how he can help people who are not able because it means a lot, especially for a lot of elderly people who cannot afford to cut their grass because they're on fixed incomes. It makes their day when he comes and cuts their grass for free. While in Kansas City, he mowed the lawn of a Northland widow whose husband served in the Korean War. His organization encourages young men to mow 50 yards where they live.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Good stuff. What do you think about that, Bray?
It was a really good story, unlike the last one.
You like that one? All right, unlike the last one. All right, here we go. We're going to do our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning round.
All right, here we go. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, parting words of advice. Chuck Peterson.
I'd say on the roofing side, in the repair business, on the repair side, you have to be very careful with who you hire because you can get somebody roll up in there in a truck and say, I can do roof repairs, and they probably can't, and you'll never see them again. So repair more so than regular roofs. Very, very careful who you deal with.
Look out for the handyman. There's no official license for a handyman, right?
No.
Perfect. Jay Smith.
Hey, if you're buying a new property, get it inspected. We're going to go the places that you don't want to go. For instance, on the roof. We're going to go up there and take a look and see if there's any damage that needs to be addressed now. Go inside the attic, open up the electrical panels, all the things that you're not going to do. Feel free to go in, take a look, enjoy the nice cabinetry, the newer windows, flooring, whatever you like about it, but let us check out the rest of it.
That's right. One more round.
I'd say, if you're doing the real roof, make sure you get somebody that is, state licensed, insured, permit. Make sure they pull permits because there's a lot of guys who look the part and they don't even pull a permit, come to your house in 2 days, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
So you just have to do your homework.
Yeah, do your homework. Licensed, bonded, insured, making sure it's a good quality company. Check out the online reviews.
Correct.
And the Better Business Bureau as well. All right, Jay. Nuggets of advice.
And the other part of it is a Snoop inspection. We do regular single family homes. We do multifamily, condos, mobile homes. Anything you're looking to get inspected out there, we can come do it.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the the consultative approach that you take, especially first-time buyers, they want to know how to operate a lot of the different components. It's a confusing landscape when you get into the different systems that are involved with the property.
Oh, definitely. And we can show them some of the maintenance items that they should be addressing pretty much every month that they're living in that house.
Yeah.
Once you become the homeowner, you can't call up the landlord and say, come fix it. Now it's on you to take care of those maintenance items.
Yeah, the big boy pants, as they say, right?
That's it.
That's right. I want to thank all of our expert contributors. Chuck Peterson, Executive Director, Suncoast Roofing. Jay Smith, owner, Snoop Inspection. I want to thank our listeners out there as well, and all the folks behind the scene helping put this show together, and our team as well. And giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. Also, Healthy Gourmet. Shout out to Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet. Organic veggies, natural proteins delivered fresh to your home or office 3 times a week with meal plans starting at only $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance, Healthy Gourmet. We want you reaching out. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up leftover food you may have, handing it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good out there in the community. Go and volunteer. And also remember, you can text food to 877-877. Text the word food to 877-877 as our public service announcement here. And are going to reply back with your zip code and let you know some great places to go for some of the less fortunate out there during the summer. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372.